Hi, welcome to Fairy and Flame. My name is Casey Hodges.
And I'm Kathryn Camsey.
And we're building up the collective consciousness of our world, one pot at a time. I'm super excited to introduce our guest today.
It's the fairies are here already.
She's a certified hypnotherapist. She's licensed in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. She's a self-taught crystal expert, angel expert, and our fairy in residence, Kathryn Camsey. Oh, and one more thing.
What?
Author
that's
of my Mindful of Happiness guide, which is available on fairyandflame.com.
Oh, so interesting. I was just reading it.
Weird.
How to charge a crystal.
I wanted to kick this off by telling a little bit of a story about how we first met.
Okay.
So I met you in a playground next to a convenience store, which is like where we all hang out.
Oh, yeah. I remember, yeah.
The gas station. And you walked up and you were just your energy was so big and so magical. And I was so enamored. I was like, who is she? What is she? It was just, it was so much and it was so powerful and unforgettable. And then when we started talking and you told me about what you did with fairies and your book, and I'm just always so inspired by women who are business women and business minded. We're both manifest generators, right? So you long before Fairy and Flame, you had manifested and generated the story of the fairies.
Yes.
We're going to get into that today. But yeah, your ability to be an entrepreneur, I don't know if a lot of people who listen to this pod know that, I really admire that. And so you've got this whole fairy club empire, which is about 23,000 strong on Instagram that some of our pod listeners might not know about. So I just wanted to give you your kudos. And so when we were talking about how we were going to kick this off, I think a lot of people resonate with the fairies in books and movies and stories, and they kind of lump them with Santa Claus and Bigfoot. Yeah. Even though, Bigfoot's real too.
So Santa, by the way.
Right. But we've, in lots of cultures, we're going to talk about this. Fairies are they're real and they have energy and people work with them. Mm-hmm. So what I would love to start with today is the history of fairies.
Okay.
And let's just give people the background of fairies.
Sure. Yeah. Well, fairies, obviously, it's a different way of looking at it. They are like little angels. That's how I see them. They're sort of earth angels. They're here to help us with nature and being outside. And, there really are flower fairies, water fairies, air fairies, earth fairies.
Fire fairies.
The fire fairies. Yeah. So all of these fairies are around us all the time and always have been since the beginning of time. And there's a lot of folklore and history that suggests that they come, from English roots, Irish roots, Scottish roots. And the story goes is a lot of them came over they were in Ireland. If anyone's ever been to Ireland, you'll know how beautiful and magical it is. And then they came over to England and they sort of went down into Cornwall and worked their way up. And there's lots of different variations of fairies as well. You've got different sort of ways that people connect with them. You can have the pixies and which can be a little bit cheeky, or sprites, or all the flower fairies. There's all these different versions of them and you can connect with them in different ways. So, but they are a race of people, fairies.
But not in this realm.
They're not in this realm. So they sort of, and this is something actually I asked Angie in her guides about, how would I explain that to people? And it's almost like they can jump the timeline. So they can sort of jump in and jump out. And that's why you sort of almost see them on your peripheral vision. It's not like you're going to have a fairy, well, you might, I hope to one day, sort of land on your hand, but you're going to see them sort of in the corners and the lights and the flickers and I've definitely heard them laughing, or I've had my name called and things like that. So
it's a form of a spirit,
yes.
More of a spirit of nature.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely spirits of nature, and you can connect with them by going outside. That's really what they want you to do. And unfortunately, we're all busy and time's gone by, and it's almost a joke now. Oh, do you believe in fairies? Well, yes, I do.
Do you think there's something about fairies that want to kind of pull you outside to be closer to the plants and the ground and the earth and the trees? Like they're almost little cheerleaders of...
That's exactly what they want. They are peace. They can be very, very peaceful. They want you to sit and sit with the sun on your face. They want you to go and touch trees. They want you to notice the blades of grass or the dewdrops or the magic. There's magic in everything.
Toadstools.
The toadstools and the mushrooms, and look inside a flower and see the magic of that. They are magical beings, and they want you to believe in magic because magic is real, not in the, oh, here's a coin behind my ear.
Yeah.
Although that's probably real too. But in the magic and the beauty of creation and nature, and as the sun hits the river, or the little sparkles, or the magic of blowing what I always call wishes, the dandelions. There's magic everywhere.
Yeah, there's a childlike innocence to it as well, which
absolutely.
we all need to be kind of reminded of and go back to.
What's wrong with that? Yeah. What's wrong with having that childlike love? I can't remember where I heard this quote, but there's nothing as happy as, I wish I could be happy about anything as much as a child when they blow bubbles. Like that childlike, how simple that is.
Yeah.
And life can be like that. It depends on how you look at it. You don't have to think, oh, I'm an adult and now I have to do this, or you can weave that magic and that childlike essence into everything. And I think I do that every day, or I try to.
Oh, you definitely do that. No. You embody. I always say you're 95% fairy, and you correct me and say, oh no, I'm 98% fairy.
Yeah.
I can attest to the fairy energy. I think and if people are like, what are they talking about, right? Like, what do you mean fairies are in a different realm, or you can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah.
I will explain it like this. And I didn't really understand it until, again, I embodied it and experienced it. But your energy is fairy energy. Yeah. You're giggly, you're funny, you're a little trickster. Yeah. You like to give gifts. You like to get gifts. You have like all of these, you like to be outside barefoot, and you like to pick flowers. You like to create things out of nature. Like there are the similarities of the fairy energy and your energy are very, very, very similar. It would be just like if you were it would be like when we call people trolls, like that's like a thing that people say as a slang, like, God, she's such a troll. Yeah. Well, what is the energy of a troll? Yeah. Grumpy, always have a mean face. So yeah.
No, I definitely embody that. And I feel like that, I'd be interesting to see, maybe I don't know if you can be a past life of a fairy. That's something that's for another episode. But I definitely feel like that. I have, and I've met people before and they're like, oh, you've really got fairy energy. I get that because I do, I collect stickers and stuff like that. Because I just really...
There's an innocence to it.
There's an innocence to it, and I love it. And it's hard, I think... I found it hard being a grown-up sometimes. I find not being childlike all of the time is, difficult. We met someone this week, and he said to me, "I'll go and grab your phone, and I'll put my number in it." And I was like, "Oh, I've got Santa popping over the top of his. I don't know how professional
This is where we need to show everyone your phone case right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, this is our clock, but this is my...
If you're watching, that's her phone case.
Why wouldn't you want that? Because it makes me happy every time I look at it.
Yeah, that's fairy energy.
That's fairy energy.
So you're this isn't just something that you kind of learned on your own. This is something that's been passed down in your family. So tell us a little bit about your grandmother and her relationship with the fairies.
So my grandmother, and I didn't spend that much time with her because she was my father's mother and she lived up north, so she was a little bit separated from us. But I always had an affinity to her. And actually, when she passed, I got her wedding ring, and it was funny because it just was given to me when I was like 14. There was loads of other people sort of higher up than me, if you like, but it just given, and it was just given to me, and I just put it on, and I've never taken it off. And I suppose that's our natural connection that I had with her.
Yeah, of course.
On some level, it was just like, it was an unspoken thing. Because even her daughter was alive at the time. So, and I loved it. And I just feel so connected to her. And her name is Marjorie. And I recently spoke to, you think you know everything about, I've been studying fairies, loving fairies since I was 5. I mean, really have. And I sort of like, what else is there to know? And then I had a conversation with our friend Luke, who doubled my knowledge in like an hour
Of fairies.
of fairies, because you never know everything. Of course, you never know everything. And he said, your grandmother's trying to connect with you. And you need to go and look up what her name means, which is pearl. So which is like a light giver. Which is, of course, magical. So it's bringing her DNA back into me and sort of trying to connect with her because she used to see fairies.
Yeah.
And obviously in those days, in the 50s, you don't want to be saying you see fairies.
Well, and she paid for that too.
She did. She was a very, very fanciful woman. My dad's a little bit fanciful. And I've since found out.
What do you mean by that?
Fanciful, like, for example, in the war, you got rations. She would save up her rations and go and buy a gold lame dress, for example, instead of food.
So impractical?
Oh, fun, fairy-like.
Very fun, yeah.
Why wouldn't you know?
Right.
And she was a fantastic pianist. She was actually one of the first people ever on radio in Sunderland. And my granddad, James, was in the big band. So she had airs of grandeur, you would say that in England. You would think that she'd come from royalty or, my dad always used to call me Catherine the Great. It was, it was that sort of air of...
Well, maybe she was fairy royalty.
Maybe she was fairy royalty.
And she committed to seeing fairies?
She did. She used to say to my mum, oh, look, there's a fairy over there. And she was just, and then in the end, unfortunately, they institutionalised her.
Oh.
But it wasn't just the fairies. There was, other things, obviously, but that didn't help. I just say that. But then, if you look in the 50s, what they would institutionalise you for, it was ridiculous. It was, not agreeing with your husband. I mean, that wouldn't work well for me. Or, being, political disagreements with people or being too emotional.
There was a much lower threshold for getting institutionalized.
Low, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with that nowadays, right?
Yeah, good luck with that one there. Yeah.
So she saw fairies.
Yes, she saw fairies.
Unbeknownst to you.
Yes.
And then fast forward and you're a child.
Yes. So unbeknownst to me, I didn't know any of that because it wasn't something that we talked about. So when I was very young, about 5, and this is a realisation I've had quite recently, and there was a girl that lived in my road, and we would go, and there was always trees and like little greenery. In England, the gardens are so tiny, probably as big as this rug, but it was like, wow, it seemed enormous. And I remember there's a cherry tree particularly, and I used to go there and we'd make clothes for them, and I would leave buttons and honey. And I didn't even know how, because fairies do love buttons and shiny things and honey. And I would leave all this stuff, and it was a constant thing. And I would see them, and I'd see them out the corner of my eye and waving. And it really happened. I mean, it is something that I really experienced. And then I remember telling my mum about it. And I'd go a lot. It would be the end of my road. We would go and do this quite a lot. And then I remember talking to my mum about it. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just making clothes for the fairies. It would just be a normal thing. Or collecting acorns. I used to collect acorn hats, hats and things like that. Or petals for umbrellas and things like that. And it really worried my mum. And so she was like, well, that's not right. And she sort of shut it down. And then the little girl, I said to my mum once, where's that little girl? And I can't remember to this day what her name was. Where's that little girl that I used to go and do the fairies with? And my mum didn't know what I was talking about. And I've only had this realisation, probably in the last week or so, that I think that little girl was maybe spirit or something. Again, I want to investigate that more, because I can remember exactly what she was. Very tiny, but my sort of height. Wasn't like fairy, but my sort of height, very short blonde sort of hair. I don't want to be cliche and say pixie haircut, but it's sort of, that's how I remember it, sort of spiky hair and short, and we'd always been in brown suede. Like,
always the same outfit.
Always the same outfit.
Wow.
And then she disappeared after I stopped seeing the fairies. And I just thought it was a little girl in my road. You don't question stuff when you're little.
Yeah.
But now I think, who was that? I wonder who that was. And now I'm sort of remembering her more. I'm sort of seeing her. She's becoming clearer to me. And it's a shame because my mum's passed, because it would be a question that I would ask her. But,
wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
So maybe she was your fairy friend.
My fairy friend,
guide.
Or guide. Or...
Well, a lot of times you hear kids, these things start with an imaginary friend of some sort, right? And so that's definitely could have been the case.
I'm almost sure of it.
So do you think was obviously you had your grandmother, and then you had this admiration for the fairies. Did that continue through like your teenage years, or did you kind of become a teenager and then?
I've always loved fairies.
Okay, so it's stuck with you.
It's always been a thread. So yeah, it's always stuck with me. I've always got I believe T-shirts, or fairies on my wall, or I've booked fairy books. So I would say it's definitely been a theme. Definitely boys probably came in at some point and became more of a focus for me.
Right.
So yeah, there was that. And then my job was. I loved, I was a TV host for years and years in England. And I think what reignited it was when I got a job on that psychic channel.
Yeah.
And that's, so it was, it wasn't ever gone, but it wasn't as it is so in my life now.
Yeah.
And definitely when I went on that TV show, it would be me and psychics and tarot and crystals and fairies and angels. And I was just like, oh, this is my favourite thing that I could possibly do ever. It was just so exciting. And I just loved every minute of it because I was learning every day. Although I was too open. I wasn't protecting myself.
Mm-hmm. You had a situation that happened.
Yes.
On that.
Yeah, I was working
psychic
with
channel.
I can't remember. I think this lady's name was Andrea, but she was a fairy and angel expert. So one of my favourite things ever. So we were talking about fairies, and I was sort of telling her a little bit about my lineage and everything that I loved about fairies. And I said, hey, why don't we invite, we're on live on air, why don't we invite the fairies in? And she was like, well, I don't know if we should invite the fairies in because, it might be, they can be quite mischievous, they can be quite naughty. Mischievous. Yeah. Thank you for helping me. And I said, no, let's invite them in. It'll be fine. And the producer's like, yeah, let's invite them in, because, they're thinking, oh,
good TV.
Yeah, good TV. So she was like, okay, well, now I'm going to invoke, I'm frightened. I'm not actually doing this fairies, just so you know. So I don't want them to shut us down. But
we're retelling a story, fairies.
We're telling a story. But I was like, hey, welcome to the fairies. Come on in. And she did it. She did like this. We're welcoming you in. Please come in the studio. Like a little prayer. Not a prayer, but just a welcoming of fairies. And I kid you not, everything started to flicker, like all the lights started to flicker. The screen, when you get a screen in a screen in a screen in a screen in a screen?
Yeah.
Every TV, because we'd have monitors, so you're looking at yourself, every screen went like that. And it's shut. And then she went like this, and she was like, your grandmother's here. And I was like, my grandmother's here. And she said, she's here, and she's beautiful, and she's walking in this. And she would be like, she's really like walking in like this. Like she's got this big long dress on, and she's sort of floating in. It's giving me goosebumps telling this story. And then all of a sudden, whole studio went off.
Oh my gosh.
The whole thing
Everything
went down. Everything
went
went down, and we couldn't get it back for about 2 hours.
Show's over.
Show's over, production meeting, don't invite. Because it's funny because you're dealing with all these spiritual people, but you're also dealing with crew that are like, is this real? What's happening? Oh, of course it's real.
So in the meeting, do they say,
don't invite the fairies.
Don't invite the fairies again ever.
We shouldn't do that. And she said, I did say that. I did mention it. I was like, I didn't know we can shut it down. My fault.
Wow. That's wild.
So it was just crazy. It was just, it was amazing. So I think that day I was like, boing, like back, fully obsessed again.
With the fairies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So always been there. I've always loved it.
Huh. And then, so you've done the hosting thing, which, by the way, the neuro-linguistic programming, that's from...
because I got a job at QVC.
Yeah, that was from that job, too.
So I wanted to be like, if I'm going to do anything, I want to do it. My dad always says, whatever you do it the best you can and do it with a smile. Yeah. Even when I was sweeping floors in Pinewood Studio, I did that too. Yeah. And the tea girl. That I did it because why wouldn't you? It doesn't matter what you're doing, and you never know where it's going to lead. Yeah. And it always leads for somewhere because somebody always remembers the happy person for good reasons and the miserable person for bad reasons.
Well, I mentioned that because you have this long list of what we call tools in the toolbox, and we're going to get to the story of your book. And so in addition to fairies, you're collecting all of this knowledge on crystals and angels and meditation and yoga. And so you've started to open yourself up to a variety of spiritual modalities.
Yes.
And this is the part where, this is going to be the not so fun part of the interview, but we talked about it before, so it's not like I'm asking you something you don't know, but you had something super tragic happen.
yeah, I'd always done all of those things, and I was more, I was getting more and more into it. Journaling's so important, and affirmations and prayer and all of those sorts of things. And then in 2011, my niece got murdered, as I've spoken about before, Alice. And that's really, I think there's my life before that and my life after that. It sort of time stopped.
And this was something random and something extremely unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, nobody has, I always say it like this. It's almost, you've got, like, you come into life and you sort of think, you on a sort of soul level, or you see other people experiencing, maybe you'll lose a parent, or somebody, you might know someone that's got cancer or something. You have these people, these experiences, but I'd never heard of anyone that knew someone that had been murdered before. It's not something that you expect.
Yeah.
Not that you expect any of those things, but it's so abhorrent and shocking. Yeah. And she was 20, and to get that phone call.
And you're one of 4 siblings. This was your oldest sister.
This was my oldest sister's daughter, her oldest daughter, Alice Adams, and she was. I mean, I know people say this about people that go, but she really was special. She was an earth angel. Like, there's no doubt about that. This world was too much for her. She was so kind, and she taught me a lot, actually, in the short time that she was here. And there was loads of things after that she went, in her room. There were messages that she'd left for us. She'd written a poem when she was 13 about, when I'm gone, please don't cry, please smile, remember me and smile, don't remember me and cry. I mean, her soul was getting her ready for it. And actually, as I said, I've mentioned to you, Casey, that she dreamt that it happened 2 nights before. So her soul was getting her ready for it.
Yeah.
And also that dream that she was able to share with Sarah gave Sarah comfort.
That's your sister.
That's my sister, her mum, because it gave, I know for people that aren't sort of on this, sometimes it's weird when I say this, but it gave it meaning that it happened. It gave her a comfort that was supposed to happen.
That was her
soul's journey. Mm-hmm. She decided, because it happened with another guy. And people can read about this if they want to. I don't want to go into the weeds of that. But, and I think she went with him. I think she was going to help him cross over. So yeah, that was, horrific for all of the reasons that you can think of. The police, the sadness, the investigation, the court case, all of those things. The press, like, British press it can be horrible.
And this did have a lot of
it had a lot of
headlines.
A lot of headlines still to this day. It's crazy how this story has just kept going. But that being said, what the hardest thing for me was to look around a room of, I think we all just drove to my sister's house, and there's a lot of us, probably like 20 of us, all got there and sort of were arriving at different times, arriving, it just, what do you say? But all my support network, every single person was heartbroken. It's not like when something happens to you and you go and have a cuddle from your mum or your sister, or you go and talk. Everybody was affected. My dad sat there for 3 days reading a book upside down, for example. My little niece, she was only 8, Daisy. Like, imagine, I was that age when it happened to me, and she's 8. How does she process it? And
how old were you?
Gosh, how old was I? 30. I was in my early 30s. Okay. So it's hard enough for me to process. How's she now going to process it? Or how do I help her? But what I had was this toolbox of knowledge. And so that's what I lent on. I knew day one, don't have a drink. That's not going to help me.
Alcohol.
Don't have alcohol.
Yeah.
Don't eat bad food and get drowned in that. Go outside, put your feet in the grass. Pray, find, I know this again is hard for people, but find gratitude that she was even in my life. That's I was able to draw on those things. I wrote down how I felt all the time. When I was in the court case, we were sat there, and I know people are like, well, why would you go in the court case? But I wanted the jurors to know that she came from a lovely family and that she was loved. I needed love in that room.
You were in the courtroom.
I was in the courtroom the whole time. We all were. All of us were. And I wrote that whole time. I had this whole diary, write, everything I was feeling. And it helped me so much. And I ended up, at the end of the court case, I burnt it because it was done. I didn't need to revisit it. It wasn't about revisiting. So,
just real quick, that's so funny that you do that, because that's a form of purge too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, for you to purge out that energy through the pen.
Yeah. I was just, and some days, I would have days I'd just write the word love. again and again and again, and draw it, and a heart and a flower and a love and Alice's name. And, you know, I was just putting the energy of her in there, not really consciously, but I already had the background of this knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was like, so I stood on the shoulders of the information that I had, and I thought, you know what, everybody as an adult, we all have things. Like, this is a really sad story. Everyone's got a sad story. Like, no one gets to be like, well, my story's sadder than yours. We've all got stuff. And so what happens is you go through life, something happens, and you go on, you search, right? Do you turn to God? How do you make yourself better? Because you've got to dig yourself out. It might be God, it might be prayer, it might be church, it might be alcohol, it might be drugs,
depression,
it might be depression, it might be feeling sorry for yourself. Whatever it is, we go on this search, and we try of healing. So I thought, why can we not give people these tools, children, these tools before? Why do you have to break to go and search to find the healing? Why can't you have the healing before something happens? So when it does happen, which it will, because it's life and we're here to learn lessons, you've already got it. So that's what happened. So from Alice, the Fairy Club was born, because it was about all of that knowledge and just an introduction to it. And it took me about 2 to 3 years to write it, because it seems fanciful and fun, and it is, and it's digestible. But I thought, this book's bigger than me. I want to reach out to all of those people that have helped me and get them to put in this, so that the knowledge is really, really, really strong and fun, but powerful, informative, but right. It's not just me going, oh, it's a fairy.
Let's Google crystals and write that, right?
It wasn't anything. It wasn't like that at all. It could have been, but I really feel the importance of that.
The integrity
of it, yeah.
Even though it's a book for children, it's also, you can read this as an adult.
Oh,
because it's a 101.
It's a 101. It's a guide.
Yeah.
And I have had a lot of adults buy it when they're starting their journey, sort of like just tipping their toe in, because there's 2 or 3 pages on each topic. It's just an introduction. It's just a start. And it was an absolute labour of love. I was up till 5 a.m, because I had a baby, and it was crazy.
And you're also dyslexic.
I'm very dyslexic.
Yeah.
Yes, I am dyslexic. So it was lovely to have that full circle moment and be like,
well, also to prove you can do hard things. You know, if you're dyslexic, writing a book isn't the first thing that comes to your mind, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if that's, you did that, right?
I did that, yeah. Even with hosting, like auto cue, I was like, I better get really good at reading, because I can't go in and be like, oh, I'm dyslexic. Or, I mean, there were definitely some jobs that I didn't get because of it. It was just a funny story. But anyway, I'm proud of that, because, and I hope that also in the future I can be a beacon for kids with dyslexia, because even now it isn't recognised the way it should be. But that's a whole other pod.
So the book, My Mind Full of Happiness, we're gonna get into it real quick. One of the things that I love about this book, well, there's a lot of things I love, but one of them is that when you say integrity, you brought in a lot of really cool people that probably maybe in the time, I mean, some of them already had their careers going, but you had some guests that make appearances in this book. So we have our friend John Edward.
Oh, you gotta love John.
And if you guys don't know who John Edward is, he's OG
psychic medium.
Yep, psychic medium.
Super cool. And he had me on my show on his show talking about it.
And he's going to be on this show.
Yes, he is.
Eventually, John, we know you are. Energy Light Bowl. This is his practice.
Thing. Yeah, he does that at the end of every show. Quick. What about John or his life?
The energy light ball.
Okay. He, at the end of his show...
Well, tell us real quick. You know John because...
I do. I became... Really quick, my mum was obsessed with John Edward. My husband was in a band at the time. I was trying to get some tickets.
To John Edward.
I met with his cousin Kat, who's like, a New Yorker. She doesn't mess around. And she thought I was just a bit full of myself and how cheeky to do that. But I ended up meeting her, and I was sat on the floor eating a sandwich with my mum in the queue. And she was like, oh, why don't you come to the front? I was like, I'm just happy. I'm so excited to be here. I was so excited.
In the waiting room or in the lobby eating a sandwich on the floor.
A sandwich on the floor. So I think that then she was like, okay, you're not a terrible person. and then we just became like instant fast friends. And then, you know, my mum was obsessed with John, and we went to all of his shows after that. And then one day I said to Kat, can I just come on the road with you and be the mic girl? She's like, you want to be the mic girl? I was like, I really want to, because I wanted to learn. And so I did. I used to go on tour with John, literally the mic girl.
Yeah.
And taking tickets girl. And it was great.
And learned so much.
I learned so much. It was a magical time, and I love her and I love him. Just brilliant people. And so then I asked him to be in the book, and he said yes.
So he's in here guiding people through the energy light ball, which
he does at this show.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Which I love.
Who's your other favorite? I've got a lot of them marked, but tell me.
I can't really, because all of them, I hounded all of them to be in my book. Oh, I love him. I do love him, Prince Air. I love that.
Tell us about him.
Says. He was really hard to get to. He was a tough nut to crack.
Yeah. He's got like millions of followers.
Pretty much everyone in here has got millions of followers.
Oh, good job, Kat.
Well, I just hound them until in fact, his agent rang me. I can't even say the swear words that he said to me. It was like, are you crazy? Are you actually like not well?
and it's Prince Ear.
Prince Ear, yeah.
Yeah. How does he say it?
Prince Ear.
Yeah.
Prince Ear.
Yeah.
But you know, his agent, we got talking because I just wouldn't let up. And he was like, because he got annoyed with me in the end. And then I told him the whole thing about fairies. And he was like, I believe in fairies. Oh. And we had this whole massive fairy conversation. And he went from hard no, stop hounding me, you crazy person, to, okay,
I'll do it for the fairies.
That wasn't Prince Ear that I spoke to directly. It was his agent.
His agent.
Just to be clear.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did it for the fairies.
He did it. And he got him in the book, and they all signed it, and because, you know, I wanted them all to sign it and agree to it. So
that's amazing. I feel like when someone is in the fairy like zone, that it's like me and Bigfoot kind of, you know?
People, they can almost feel you, feel you coming, coming to them and talking to them. They've got to say yes.
Yeah.
And I do love everyone in here because everyone did this for free, by the way, and offered their time and their knowledge because they loved the idea of it.
Yeah.
They love of what I was creating.
So real quick, just to break the book down, and then we'll go back to so this book is a guide, and it's everything from the power of life and positive energy, to meditation, to crystals, to angels, to essential oils.
Yeah. And there's like a little guide at the front. So it's like, you can give it to your kids, that it'll be like, how do I feel stronger in my body? What do I do? How do I charge my crystals? And then it'll tell you all the different pages to go to.
Gratitude.
Manifesting.
Angels,
the flower of life,
chakras.
It's like supermarket
yoga,
sweep.
Every healthy eating, everything.
Feng shui, numerology.
I think you touched. I mean, is there anything else that you could?
Affirmations.
Yeah.
Angels. Chakras.
No ayahuasca in here. It's age appropriate.
There's no ayahuasca in here. Astrology. Did you say that?
That was a past episode. Astrology. Yes.
Yeah.
Our Karen Marsh, who.
She's in here.
She does some. If you check us out on Instagram, Karen Marsh does a monthly astrology download for us. We call it the astrological forecast. She's in here.
She's my friend Donna Maxine White, who is unbelievable. I do soul readings with her. She's on the angel page.
This is a good one.
This is a
I
really
have her
good
pots in my kitchen.
Radhi Shetty, let me tell you, she is lovely. I contacted her. She came back within about a minute of me sending her. I think I Instagrammed her, and she came back straight away. I told her the whole idea of the book, and she went, I absolutely love it. Of course, I would love to be in it. Oh. And then she's from Watford, which is a couple of villages away from where I lived, where I grew up.
Yeah.
So we grew up in the same area.
So Radhi and Jay Shetty are from
Watford.
Okay, they're both from the same place.
They're from the same
and
place.
So Radhi's the one who has the healthy eating, of course.
Yes.
That one's a good one.
And it's funny because she's on a podcast with a fairy. She's being interviewed by it's a fairy podcast.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's so funny, isn't it?
Oh, well, maybe that's a sign.
Oh, hang on, Radhi. Do you want to come on a podcast?
No, I was gifted her pots.
Oh, you were?
Those orange ones that I have upstairs. Those are hers.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
They're the ones I burnt those sausages in, though. But I fixed it, don't worry. Don't worry about it. Roddy, I might need some more pots.
Well, anyway, so this book is just fabulous, and all the different modalities have a fairy that's attached to them. and as a character attached to them. How many fairy characters do you have in your fairy character bank?
Well, I mean, I've got all these other books as well that I've got. There's about 20 at the back of the book. You can see all these other things that I've done as well.
How many books do you have?
24.
Oh my God, you have so many books.
I know.
but the reason why I say that is because this is your only book that's published right now. We have this for...
Oh, and I have a Zerafina book as well, which is a sleeping book.
Oh, do you have that one? But it's a download.
No, I've got that.
Oh, you have that book?
Yeah.
Well, then we should put that up on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. This is on our website right now. We've got a great holiday promotion too running around it.
This is how I feel about it. This book was my calling card. It's almost like my business card to the world. It's something I've given it away a lot, not because I don't value it, because I really do.
You give away to charities.
I love giving it away. You know, I think foster kids should have it. I think hospitals should have it. If there's ever an opportunity for me to gift it, I love it, because that's what it was for. This was my stepping stone to where I'm going with this, because I've got over 75 fairies now. I've got astrology fairies, crystal fairies. If there's a modality, breathing fairy, that I've got a fairy for it. I literally one day had to mentally get a switch in my head and turn it off, because I had these images of these fairies constantly coming in, and I thought at some point I've got to like turn this into a business and stop just drawing fairies, which is essentially what I was doing with, by the way, the illustrator Julie Anson. I want to give her flowers, because she's fantastic.
Say her name again.
Julie Anson. She's in here. You'll see her.
But Kat, yes, she did a fantastic job illustrating this.
She did.
You though drew a lot of this out, sketched out.
I designed it was really hard to find somebody that would, even to the button, had to be exactly how I wanted it.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But people won't do that. They'll do like, an illustration of what you want. But she did it exactly. So all these fairies, I saw them, and I was really, really anal about it. I drew every single page. There's no artistic interpretation. It's verbatim.
Yeah, this is you.
This is 100% me. So it was a joy to work with her. But yeah, so I've got over 75 fairies, and my end goal. This is what I really, really want for it.
Tell us.
Got the book, I've got the whole series, I've got affirmation cards, bookmarks, stickers, I've got a whole...
Which you guys will all get a little bit if you order. We'll give you a little, we'll send you a pack.
Yeah, I've got stickers and all sorts of things. So I'm going to build that out. But two main things that I really am going to do with this. I'm going to create an animated movie out of it, which is going to teach children how to do all of these things in a beautiful way. I really would love to do that. So we can't stop kids being on TVs and things like that, but we can make sure the messaging is beautiful.
Yeah.
And the second thing that I really would love to do, in England they've got something, Peppa Pig World. I don't know if anyone heard of Peppa Pig, but it's basically this world, and you go into, it's like you're entering the cartoon, and you get to go up Windy Castle, and you get to go on the hill where they live. And I want to create this park which will be a fairy club world, where you go into Fairy Town Hall and you do yoga, and then you go and do visioning boards in another place, and you go and get to ride the chakra rainbow. And so it's almost like a theme park. But
move over, Dolly.
Watch out, Dolly.
Here comes Kathryn.
And I want it to be something where everyone benefits. So it's not me sat at the top counting all the money that I would make, which would be a lot, because if I did all that. But it would be a shared experience. So everybody working on it is part of it, because if you believe what we believe, energy is absolutely real. Right. Imagine if everyone's getting something out of it. It's not just from having been a tea girl, and literally the girl that had to make the tea and sweep the floor when I was at my first job in TV, which I also loved, by the way. I loved doing that. That's just as important as the COO or anything like that, because we all, we're
all connected.
This book is really on the shoulders of everyone in it. This isn't just me. I channeled a lot of it, probably all of it, because I would read it back and go, "This was really good. That's really good. I love that." But I thought, and I would always write between, because I didn't want to take away from my daughter, so I would do it when she was in bed. So I'd start writing about 9 o'clock and work till 5 in the morning, and that in those magic hours. And it was so easy. The writing was so easy, and it's before ChatGPT and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I've stood on the shoulders of people, and they're all credited in here, obviously.
Yeah.
And so wouldn't it be great if I can give that back?
That's what
we're gonna do.
We're gonna do.
Yeah.
So thank you for today.
Thank you.
I'm so glad everyone gets to hear the story behind the fairy, a fairy in flame, because it predates this podcast.
It does, yeah.
And I just encourage everyone to buy this for their friends, for their kids, for themselves. It's like, I've read it, I've given it to people. And Dolly, if you're listening, Dolly has a book club.
Oh, yes, the Imagination Library.
The Imagination Library.
My daughter thought that Dolly was her auntie for a really long time because she'd get books from her all the time. And then I think we went into Chick-fil-A or something. She was on the wall. She was like, oh, it's Auntie Dolly. I was like, oh. She thought she just lived in England.
Sorry,
that's how that's. Yeah, sorry.
Do you want to wrap us up with anything?
I just want to say that there's a lot of mysticism behind fairies, and and joking all aside, fairies are real. They are a race, and they do want everybody to go outside. They do want to, and you want to invite that light energy in, good fairies, loving fairies, fairies that are going to help you with your life. And you can connect with them, and you can have that mystical, beautiful energy in your life just by, and Angie always says this, doesn't she? If you've got a problem, there's something wrong, or what do I do? It's like, go outside. Go outside and hug a tree. Go and look at a flower. Go and put your feet in the grass. And this is the very last thing that I'll say, because I've actually got loads of things I could say. But I just learnt this from Luke, actually. When you go and ground, I've always grounded in the morning my whole life, go outside in the morning and put my feet. But for women, the feminine is the moon. So make sure that you go out with the night fairies and the moon fairies. And every night, if you've got daughters, go outside and step outside.
Look at the moon.
And look at the moon and put your feet in the grass and be grounded. And for men, the sun and the fire is when it's best for them to grounding. It's good at any time, but they're just too little. Things that I learned this week. So.
Well, thank you, friend, fairy friend.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and also happy birthday.
Oh, it is my birthday today. Thank you.
It is.
What a great birthday present today.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you. Fairy bye-bye.